All right, so welcome to another episode of Three-Sided Box Prediction Center for the NFL season. We're at week 16 now.
16.
This week, and then one more week till playoffs. Still a lot of stuff up in the air, a lot of divisions wide open.
Yep.
This is a pretty weird season so far.
Absolutely.
Last week, I went 11-4. Pretty good picks, thanks to a few upsets.
Mm-hmm.
David, what'd you go?
Very, very disappointing 7-8.
Pathetic. Michael, what'd you go?
I did the best. I did 12-3.
12-3.
I followed your.
Follow my example. It's all about the upsets.
Of the upsets, exactly.
All right. So let's move right into the first matchup of the week on Thursday Night Football. A real nail biter. A lot of people have been looking forward to all season. The Battle of California.
Yeah.
The San Diego Chargers, who played their last game in San Diego, possibly.
Yep, maybe.
Versus the the Oakland Raiders, who were thought to have played their last game in Oakland, but not really. It looks like they're going to be staying where they are. So who you got, Dave?
It's a tough one because they're both playing with absolutely nothing to lose. They're both eliminated. But the Charles Woodson just announced he's retiring.
Yeah.
Apparently he might be playing all three phases of football, just like he did in college: offense, special teams, and obviously defense. So in a surprise twist, I'm actually going to give the Raiders the win. So my prophecies have officially gone haywire, and so Raiders win.
Taking the Raiders. I also will choose the Raiders just because San Diego had a great game last week against the pretty lowly Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
It was a kind of a special game for them, and they kind of brought their A game.
Yeah.
That being said, they might bring some of that into Oakland, but I feel like playing in Oakland is never easy, except for most teams. But no, this season it's really turned around.
90% of the league.
They're a team that's only going to get better, I think, and I think they're going to pull it off this week against the Chargers.
Could be.
Mike can't pick, so we got two Raiders picks.
Surprisingly.
Hopefully we're wrong. Next game. All right, so David can't talk for this one because his lowly Eagles are hosting the mighty, powerful, threatening, explosive Washington Redskins, currently sitting at the top of your division, and deservedly so. May I say they are probably the most surprising team of the season. I had faith in them from the beginning. I believe Kirk Cousins is a great guy, as documented by my constant talking about Kirk Cousins.
You like that?
I like that. I like that a lot. That being said, I think the Redskins win the division against the Eagles this week in Philadelphia, bucking a trend of losing away from home. I think they're more than capable of closing it out. They're not a bad team, they just make a lot of mistakes. Deshaun Jackson might want a little revenge for being given up on by your franchise. And I'm picking Redskins this week.
It's a bit of a tough one. I kind of see where you're coming from for this, but I'm sticking with the Eagles winning the division.
Fair enough.
I think that
I don't like that.
I think with the NFC East, the way it's turning out, I think it's just going to be like so crazy. It's going to come down to the very, very, very last game. And I know the Eagles and Redskins are pretty much battling out 1-2 for the division, but I think that the Eagles are going to just win this one, and hopefully for your sake, next week win another one to secure the division. So, rolling with the Eagles. Fly Eagles fly on this one.
See what happens. Next game.
So for the first Sunday matchup of Week 16, the San Fran 49ers head into Detroit Rock City to play the Lions. What do you guys have?
I have my snooze button for this one because I'm not waking up for this game, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
Relevant bowl?
No, it's not an irrelevant bowl just because Detroit isn't exactly the worst team ever.
But they're both out. I mean,
they're both out. It's pretty irrelevant, yeah. Has virtually no playoff implications. Yeah. That said, they still got to play the game because they're contractually obliged to play 16 full games.
Yep.
I'm going to go with Detroit. They're at home. They're a talented squad. San Francisco had a disappointing season. I don't think they have much to play for besides, not wanting to be embarrassed. But Detroit is also in the same position, and I think they have better weapons. So I'm going Detroit.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Niners are in disarray. Always a very off and on team. Some days they play well, some days they play they're the Browns. So I'm gonna roll with Detroit on this one.
I'm just gonna say one player's name. I'm pretty sure you get my pick out of that. Blaine Gabbert. Lions win.
So they were the San Francisco 49ers for a time. Yeah, it doesn't look good for them. Yeah. Anyway, let's see what happens next game. Next game is a divisional matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to quote some Edgar Allan Poe here and say, nevermore shall the Ravens make the playoffs this year. But the Steelers look like they're getting really hot really fast, and they're an extremely threatening team. What do you got, Dave?
Steelers, I don't think there's anything else to say. Ravens suck. Steelers are hot.
All right. Michael, what do you think?
I think this is going to be an easy win, and hopefully Steelers with this win could finally knock off maybe one of the two teams, Jets or Chiefs, and make that final playoff spot. Because as you said, they're a really threatening team, and I think they're the only team that could stand in the way of the Patriots this year in the AFC.
This year, Big Ben is looking like a juggernaut again, a true offensive force. It's hard to take him down. It's hard to tell where he's going to pass. He's got a lot of time in the pocket, it seems, especially lately. And he has dangerous weapons on that offense. And the defense seems to just work. It had a bit of a stutter at the beginning of the season, but their staff is so good at knowing what's going on that they seem to make it through. So maybe at Heinz Field they can put the mustard on these Ravens.
It's a wait.
Yep. So, my bad. Hopefully they bring some of that mustard from Heinz Field into Baltimore and just rub it in the faces of the Ravens, who've had a terrible year. I hope this doesn't happen again next year for the Ravens, because they're a great organization. I respect them very much, despite all the murder accusations that Ray Lewis. That happens to teams, but go Steelers. I think is the general consensus here.
Yeah.
So let's see what happens next game.
Next up is another relevant bowl.
So
a lot this week because a lot of teams are eliminated. Cowboys are riding into Buffalo to play the Bills. What do you guys have in this one?
I'm going to go with a less popular pick. I'm going to take the away team, the Dallas Cowboys. Just because, you know what, I just feel like this seems like too easy a pick. Like, the Bills are better than the Cowboys right now. I know that Romo's not starting, but
doesn't matter.
I don't know. I feel like some weird event is going to happen, and it's going to be one of those crazy games that nobody watches, but then they watch the highlights and they say, how the hell did they do that? I'm going to take the Cowboys just because.
David?
I'm picking the Bills. There's no way I'm picking the Cowboys.
Yeah, you did not want that.
Kalen Moore starting. He's terrible. Matt Castle's pretty bad too. Dez is playing injured.
Hey, Matt Castle's a nice guy though.
I don't care. So yeah, Bills. Shady McCoy's out, but I still think that the Cowboys have nothing to get that W. So
like I agreed the Bills are better, but I'm picking Cowboys just because I feel something's off about this game. What do you think, Mike?
I can see what you're saying, but like you said, Bills are just the better team, and Cowboys have just been like there's something about the Bills that just like emits like choking and terrible organization, but the Cowboys just emit that much more, in my opinion. So like it's like really two bad teams, so I'm going to go with the Bills on this one.
Alright, so we got a couple of Bills and one Cowboy. So let's see what happens next week. Alright, moving right through the irrelevant bowls, we move to the great city of Chicago, visiting the very beautiful and sunny Tampa, Florida, home of many fine organizations.
Yes, sir.
What you got, David, on this one?
It's a bit of a weird one because the Bucks have kind of slipped a little bit considering how well they've been playing before, and so did the Bears. They've both teams are a bit off right now. They're two kind of cold teams, but I think the Bears have a better team overall. This is Lovie Smith's, I think, first or second game against his old Bears. So,
I think it's the second.
So maybe he wants a little revenge, but I think Cutler's gonna play well and give the Bears a win. Go Chicago.
Well, I think the opposite. I think Cutler's going to play terribly, and I think that Jameis Winston is going to be back in that red zone form that he was having very good success with in the red zone, but just getting to that red zone, that's the hard part. I think he's going to have a good game. As far as the Buccaneers defense, I don't know, but I'm hoping Winston has a nice game to sort of end the season on a high for himself as a young quarterback. It'd be nice to see some competition in that NFC South in the future. For once. So, I'm going Buccaneers. Mike, what do you think?
I think one guy we haven't spoken about all season long who's had a really good season is Doug Martin. I think he is.
I saw him kill my hopes and dreams.
Yeah, they lit yours up. The Bucs lit your Eagles up. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think he's going to be the X factor in this game. If he could run the ball well, which I think he will against the Bears, especially they're at home, they're in a hot, environment.
Yeah.
Bears aren't really used to that. They're usually in like frigid, cold environments. So I think Bucs are going to take this in a grindy, running style type of game.
Yeah. Plus, when you run the ball well, you control the clock, right? So
Exactly.
that's how teams win. That's why the Colts only have one Super Bowl. On to the next game of the week.
Next up is NFC South matchup, divisional game.
Yeah.
Panthers coming into Hotlanta, if you want to call it that, to face the Falcons. What do you guys have?
I think we should change it to Hotlina because honestly, that hotline is blinking. Because the Carolina Panthers are killing it. No matter when you think they're going to lose, they just don't lose.
Yeah.
I think they're the real deal. You know what I mean? They're not the greatest team in the world, but they are.
They got a lot of flaws in their team, but
Yes,
they know how to fix them.
Yeah.
And I definitely respect it a lot.
Last week, I picked the Giants to end their winning streak because the Giants have notoriously been giant killers, and actually that was hyped up on Sunday by a lot of the media.
Yeah.
And they came close. I gotta say, they came really, really close. But no cigar, and the Carolina Panthers remain unbeaten. If the Giants, with that crowd and with that moment and with that kind of history on the line, couldn't do it, I don't think the Falcons are going to have a shot in this game at all. I think the Carolina Panthers learned a lot from that game. They prepared double as hard.
Yeah.
It's a division opponent. They're fully comfortable playing these guys. Carolina takes it.
I'm going to agree with you. I don't think there's much question who has the edge in this one. Panthers are... One thing I find with last game riding into the next couple of games into the playoffs, maybe because they were doing so well, they're going to kind of coast in, but I feel like the intensity of last game gave them a little bit extra spark.
Yeah, that extra...
A wake-up call.
Yeah, a little more juice in the tank, and it's going to push them further into the playoffs and give them reason to play really well, so I'm going to pick the Panthers. Although I've been saying all year that I think they're due for a loss. First round of the playoffs sounds good to me, but doesn't look like it's happening in the regular season because the Falcons suck. So,
Yeah.
Panthers.
No offense to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think you guys covered it all. I think Panthers take this. They're ready. They got a little wake-up call from last week, and they're not going to let it slip this week.
Yep. All right, so let's see what happens next game.
Next up, we got this guy's Colts riding into Miami, beautiful Florida, to play the Dolphins. He can't talk, can't pick. It's our rule. So Michael, go ahead, kick us off with your pick.
Dolphins came off a pretty embarrassing loss to the Chargers with something to prove, and so did the Colts. They lost to which could be the decider as to who makes the playoffs.
It was the decider, in my opinion.
He's a little depressed.
You know what? I disagree for your sake. I think Dolphins, I can't remember the last time they won 2 in a row. Colts have everything to play for.
They fired their coach. That's when.
That's true. But Colts have everything to prove, everything to gain, and Dolphins are pretty much out of it. So I'm gonna go with the Colts in this one.
Yeah, I'm playing the Colts one more time. He doesn't really want us to because he feels like it's a waste of a pick, but I have absolute zero faith in the Dolphins. And although my faith in the Colts is wearing very, very thin, I feel for you because we're kind of in the same boat. It's a divisional time, you gotta get cracking and win the important ones. So for his sake and just for the fact that, like you said, the Dolphins have nothing to play for. So I'm going to take the Colts. I think Hasselbeck knows this might be his last game as a starter, maybe ever. He wants to go out with a W. Why not against Miami?
Oh, man. Anyway.
Tough
If
one.
you guys are right, great, but I don't know. We'll see
We
what
hope for your sake. So
Anyway, we'll see what happens in the next game. Next game is what I call the Easy Bowl. Easiest pick possible to make unless they're playing the Eagles. Or the Broncos.
or the Colts.
Or the Colts.
Or the Colts.
No, they beat the Colts a lot.
Who?
The Patriots.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's why it's easy.
No, I think unless they play the Eagles or the Broncos this season.
Oh, okay. I thought you were making fun of us.
No,
the Super Bowl.
no.
Okay, yeah.
Which everyone believes that the Eagles should have won that Super Bowl personally.
Exactly.
But anyway, I digress. This is the New England Patriots visiting far away New York and the Jets. I don't think these teams play each other often, especially during the season.
Definitely not. No.
And I think the Jets are notorious for beating the Patriots consistently. Am I right? Yeah.
Always.
So I think you know that I'm going to pick the Patriots, even though I hate their living guts out of them. That's my pick, and I'm sticking to it. What do you say?
Patriots.
Patriots. All right. Mike, what do you think?
Man, I think you guys are underestimating the Jets.
I think you're out of your mind.
Yeah, I think you're out of your flipping mind, man.
I'm gonna go on an upset and pick the Jets in this one.
Good lord.
Look.
You know what? You have reason, because the Dolphins did beat the Patriots in the first game last season. And no one picked them. And, it's one of those things of it's a division game, but...
We're talking about the Patriots.
We're talking about Belichick
we're talking about the Patriots.
We're talking about Belichick versus... This Jets coach is not going to out-coach Bill Belichick. It's not happening.
But I'm riding on that. The Jets... Like, Patriots already clinched.
Clearly his
listen. They already clinched, okay? They already won the division. They're already going to get, I think, a first-round bye.
Yeah.
Pats have nothing to lose. Jets have everything to lose.
That's true.
It's the way I see it. And Jets are playing really good football. And I'm waiting for some Fitz magic.
Okay, so what, like 51-21?
Yeah,
okay. Let's see what happens next game.
Another divisional game, almost irrelevant bowl implications, minus the fact that your division's on the line.
It's relevant.
It's relevant just because it's your division, but it's irrelevant because the teams suck.
Yeah.
Texans, Titans. Who do you have?
All right, T and T.
That's it.
They're in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Mariota got knocked pretty good last week. He got knocked around a lot, and I think he's playing hurt because he keeps coming back from these things like really quickly.
Yeah.
And it's not a good idea for a young guy to be doing that.
No.
RG3, and I really think the Texans. Robert Griffin. Oh yeah, it's true. Does he play in the NFL anymore or?
Yeah.
Why am I talking about the Washington Redskins Gatorade guy? I don't know. That's all he does is just sit on the bench.
He hasn't even been dressed again.
Yeah.
He's gonna healthy scratch every single.
Either way, Texans playing to finally make the playoffs. It's a divisional game. I think J.J. Watt plays really, really well against our pathetic division because our division just doesn't protect the quarterbacks. Period. I think you're gonna see Mariota get knocked around again. Mm-hmm. They're gonna try double teaming him. Won't work. It's gonna be a J.J. Watt show in Tennessee, and I think the Texans with this win will basically lock up the AFC South. That's my pick.
Yeah, I think you covered it well. Texans are going to win this. I don't think Titans have a chance at all.
I think they got a chance, but it's not a very big one.
If Texans win, do they win the division?
No.
Basically.
No.
Basically. Not mathematically, but if basically the Colts lose this game and the Texans
Did you guys beat the Texans earlier in the season? Is it 1-for-1?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, what I think is that, Texans are going to win this, and they're going to lose their last game, and you guys are going to win your last game. And you guys are
Well, I'm picking the Texans. Back to my pick, because it's my turn.
Sorry, Lula.
But I don't think it's over for you guys. I think you're still gonna come out on top if it's possible.
If that happens, I would be very joyful. But if that doesn't happen,
What about Banner? First round exit.
Made playoffs. Played on Monday Night Football. Got blown out in Pittsburgh and other cities this year.
So we got 3 Texans.
Yeah, so 3 Texans. We're basically ZZ Top.
Yep.
Let's see what happens next week. We have the new look Cleveland Browns playing against the Kansas City Chiefs, who also are a pretty new look for the season. I mean, they look incredible, whereas the Browns look confusing and hard to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got, Dave?
I think this is another super easy one. Chiefs.
All right. What do you think, Mike?
Chiefs.
All right. Well, I'm going to say Chiefs. This is the thing. I like Johnny Manziel as a player. As a person, he's a bit of an idiot.
Fun idiot.
A fun idiot, yeah. He likes to party, but he shouldn't have done that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
It shows a lack of character.
Mm-hmm. And
his teammates should be led by example and not led by do as I say, not as I do. Because that doesn't work in athletics. Chiefs are playing strong football. They lose their best running back. They just get another one who's doing just as good. It's like they haven't skipped a beat. They seem to be the regular season team, but I think playoffs is going to be a different story. But I think for this game, they have no problem. They're going to keep on winning.
Yeah.
Chiefs, see what happens next game.
So for the first 4 o'clock game, I don't know who scheduled this for 4 o'clock. The Jaguars are riding into New Orleans for the Saints. Very weird game.
Mm-hmm.
Black and gold all over the place.
Just all sorts.
Yeah. Who do you guys have?
I'm gonna say the Saints are at home. They got beat out at home by Detroit last week, but the Jags defense is suspect.
Mm-hmm.
It's not horrible, but it's not great either. It's pretty below average, I would say. And the Saints offense, again, Brees, he had a bad game last week. I think he's gonna bounce back this week. I think the Saints fans are gonna bring some noise, not a lot, but some. And I think the Saints will take this one at the end of the day, based on offense.
Yeah. Michael?
What do you think, Mike?
I'm gonna disagree with you. Go with the Jags on this one.
Wow, you're upset city this week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I don't really. I think it's an upset picking the Saints in this one, but I don't know how. I think I mentioned Doug Martin as one of the more underrated, not talked about guys. I think another guy who I mentioned previously on this show is Allen Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this guy did not make the Pro Bowl, but that's another.
They're too busy picking 7 quarterbacks because they're all going to see ice time. They're playing in Minnesota.
So you got Jags?
Yeah, I got Jags in this one.
Who you got,
I don't
Dave?
know.
I'm gonna go with the Saints. I don't think the Jags have enough. Every time I pick them, they lose too. So their wide receivers are good, but they're not anything to go crazy about. I think they're playing really well, but is it a fluke? We don't know.
They got a few more years before they're ready.
Yeah, exactly. They're hot now, but they're not proven, and I think Drew Brees is gonna light that defense up. So Saints.
All right, see what happens. All right, so it's the Sea of Cheese flowing into Arizona and Monument Valley to face the Cardinals. Aaron Rodgers, great quarterback. Carson Palmer, great quarterback. Two very offensively gifted teams with very, very capable defenses. Two good coaches. What do you got, Dave?
I saw firsthand how the Cardinals can completely manhandle a game.
Yep.
They ripped the Eagles to shreds without barely even trying. Their defense is great. Their offense is even better. The Packers are good, but they almost lost to the Raiders. Well, I don't know about almost lost, but the Raiders put up more of a fight than I thought they would. And I think that's more saying how the Packers have been a bit disappointing this year. So I'm going to give it to the Cardinals. I think Bruce Arians knows exactly how to prepare for every single team. And this guy loves and lives football. And I think he knows that winning against the Packers at home is a huge game for the team morals and bringing up morale in the locker room, and especially Tyrann Mathieu out. They really need something to really give them a push into the playoffs because they usually tend to choke. So I think this one's going to go far. I'm going to get to the Cardinals.
Last year, the Cardinals had some bad luck going in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Carson Palmer going down. That was a horrible injury.
Yeah.
At the worst possible time. That being said, I think the Cardinals have a level of intensity from Arians that is unparalleled in the league. All their players seem to be just playing with class, without having any ego, and they are going into stadiums, blowing your team out and leaving. It's just business, business, business.
Exactly.
They're employing the Patriots model of do your job.
Yeah.
And they have great corner. What's his name again?
Patrick Peterson.
That guy is amazing. Just incredible player and just a class guy. He's like the defensive Larry Fitzgerald. It's incredible. They're like the same person. Larry Fitzgerald, phenomenal wide receiver, always open.
Yeah.
He's just picking balls like no problem.
Yeah.
Gets right back into the play. No showboating, no anything. Just all business.
Yeah.
I'd love to see this guy win a Super Bowl. I'd love to see Bruce Arians win a Super Bowl. I would not mind it at all. I think the Cardinals take it this week. Not easily, but they do take it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I think Cardinals take this. I saw firsthand how the Packers, work, and they're not a joke. They have a really good team. They're led by, probably the most gifted quarterback in the league. And I saw that, this guy come over on the buck and sling the football like no one else.
Yep.
But the Cards have a better run game, I think.
Yep.
They're firing in all cylinders, and they have a better defense, and they're, I think, better coach. So I'm going to roll with the Cards.
McCarthy tends to always play the safe route. That's what I noticed about him. That's why they haven't gone back to a Super Bowl. He always goes to the safe plays. It's fourth and 1. Oh, we'll punt it away. Whereas Pete Carroll would say, or Bruce Arians would say, you know what? Push it through.
Let's go for the jugular.
Yeah, let's show them we're not going to push over. We're not going to give up key possessions on 1-yard plays that we know we can make.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between the two teams. But like we said, it's Cardinals all the way.
Yeah.
On to the next game.
So another divisional game. I seem to have all of them this week.
Yeah.
St. Louis coming into Seattle, play the Seahawks. Divisional was an NFC West.
NFC West, yeah.
So who do you have?
I really like the St. Louis Rams in general. I like Jeff Fisher as a guy. He's not the world's greatest coach, but he hasn't had exactly the greatest teams to coach either. Rams have a capable young team, good running back. Quarterback situation, but I feel like Jeff Fisher tends to bring out the best in his team against the division. And I think they had upset the Seahawks at home. Was it last season? I think it was last season, or if not the season before that. There was a great upset game in Seattle that just blew my mind. I think it's going to happen again. The Seahawks are riding a high, and everybody's expecting the Seahawks to win this game. I think the Rams are just going to take it to them on this afternoon. What do you think, Mike?
Like I said before, I could see why you could see Jeff Fisher pulling out another one, but I think he's run out of tricks in his bag. I think he's running out of a couple wrinkles to use against the Seahawks that might decide the game. So I think Seahawks are going to be prepared. As you said last time, even this year, I think it was the first game of the season, Rams upset the Seahawks. So I think that Seahawks are going to remember that and prove why they're the better team on at 4:25 Sunday.
What do you think, David?
I think Seahawks are going to win it just flat out because Russell Wilson is playing amazing.
Yeah, he had the best month of any quarterback ever last month.
19 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and I am a huge, not hater of Russell Wilson, but definitely a critic. I don't think he's as great as the media claims him to be.
Despite having the best month of a quarterback ever.
No, but this past month, really, he gained a lot of my respect.
That's a stat, though. That was the best month in history.
I think the Rams are too weak of a team, so I'm saying Seahawks.
You guys are fools. It's not a question of effort. You don't see effort, watch the practices.
Yeah.
It's a matter of execution. That's the quote Jeff Fisher. They're executing now, go Rams. Next game. So this week we have the Odell Beckham Jr.-less Giants rolling into Minnesota to play the Vikings. Vikings are on a bit of a hot streak. Giants can't seem to buy a win. Fourth quarter shenanigans again, costing them. Who do you got, dude?
Sunday nighter. Giants got the prime timer again. Our division seems to thrive off them. I think the Giants really need a miracle to make the playoffs, and I'm not putting it past them to get it because our division is our division. But I think the Vikings are the better team, so I'm picking the Vikings.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, Vikings are. I don't believe they clinched yet, so I think they're gonna try.
They can still win the division.
Yeah, they can.
So, and they could still be eliminated. I think it's all.
That's all. Okay. Well, I don't know. Regardless of whether divisional or whatever, I think they're just gonna try and make it. Try and at least clinch a wild card. And I think I don't know about easy win. I think Giants are a pretty feisty team. I think especially on the road sometimes, but I still got the Vikings. I don't know how they're gonna contain Adrian Peterson.
As much as I don't like Odell Beckham Jr.'s attitude at all, he's really big-headed. He's a distraction, I think, to his teammates. He talks big and then backtracks on his own words. Just a young guy who's gonna probably regret it later, which is unfortunate because of his talent. But he does show up big when it counts. He makes huge catches, but he's not there. He's not there. Why? Because he acts like a fool. Meanwhile, the Minnesota Vikings seem to be playing as a unit. Their coach has them 100% bought into his way of playing. Their quarterback has proved critics very much wrong. He's playing pretty decent football for a guy who had very low expectations coming in. The whole team had low expectations coming in, and now they're fighting into the playoffs and could maybe cause some damage.
Yeah.
I'm going with the Vikings. They're a harder working team with more of a unit play instead of a bunch of individuals showing up. Vikings all the way. See what happens.
Yep. Monday Night Football, last game of Week 16, second last Monday Nighter of the year.
Yep.
Actually, might be the last one. I don't think they get last.
I think they end the season with a Monday Nighter.
Do they? I don't think so. I think the last game is Sunday Night Football. I think that's the last game of the year.
That's unfortunate.
So this might be the last Monday Nighter. Anyways, doesn't matter.
At least Monday Night Raw ratings will
exactly.
go up.
Absolutely. Bengals at Broncos. B orange everywhere. Who's winning this one?
The Bengals are still without Andy Dalton, I believe. The Broncos are still a very capable team without Peyton Manning. If anything, they've improved. I mean, they were scoring not a lot of points with Peyton. They're still not scoring a lot of points, but it just seems like Brock Osweiler's very confident in himself. He put up quite a few points against Pittsburgh, but then Pittsburgh rallied back and overcame the deficit. But for a long time, it looked like the Broncos were going to win that game.
Yeah.
And that's saying a lot because the Pittsburgh Steelers are a very good team. That said, I think without Dalton, the Bengals are still dangerous, but I still think they have that extra juice, going in. And I think the Broncos defense has that swagger to it that they can just shut them down. Even with A.J. Green, the juggernaut of receiving that he is. Yeah. I'm going Broncos on this one in Monday Night fashion.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this one. Bengals are, as you said, without Andy Dalton. I think even with Andy Dalton, I don't know,
with that defense.
Yeah, exactly. Like Wade Phillips, I know firsthand. I've seen how that defense plays.
Yeah, he used to be at the Cowboys, so it can't be that good.
Well, he's not a good head coach. He's a great defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that I'll give him that. Yeah.
This guy, he just knows the team's strengths and he plays to them, and it's really.
Plus, he got a cool
scary
name, Wade Phillips. Sounds like a country singer.
His father's name is Bum. So.
Bum Phillips.
Yeah.
Wow. America.
Going back to the game, I got the Broncos just winning in a defensive battle.
Cool. What do you got, Dave?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Broncos too. I do think Andy Dalton playing would have made a big difference, but he's not. Alabama quarterbacks don't seem to do well in the NFL. Clearly because they just broke a record of 28 years without a win. And Osweiler, as much as he's... I don't think he's as great as maybe the media is putting him out to be. I think
he isn't.
I think they need Peyton back for morale in the locker room, and just because I feel like Peyton's going to come back with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Prove that.
Hey, he still has a chance to Elway his way out of his career.
Exactly. The helicopter out of his career, right, Michael? So
I'm not talking about that.
I'm thinking
very
the Broncos,
lucky play.
just because I don't think the offense of the Bengals is going to be enough without Dalton.
Yeah, well, that's been the picks for this week. We're going to come back next week for the last prediction center of this season until the playoffs, which are going to be much shorter.
Yep.
This has been Three-Sided Box Prediction Center for Week 16. We'll see you all next week and see you well into the playoffs of this year. Take care, everybody.
Happy holidays.